Hi, everybody. This is Grace with GraceOnAJourneyChannelings. Welcome to the newcomer. And to those of you returning, thanks for coming back. You're valued and appreciated. Today's episode will be titled, When It All Falls Down. Those of you that are returning are aware that as I channel the messages, I also have a spread and they intermingle. And so I'd like to start and get right into it. The first card that came out was Gossip. Okay, Page of Swords. It was followed by second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. Choose wisely. Soul plan. Fulfilling soul contracts and endings. Okay. Now this pile, the messages that I'm receiving is that there was some form of infidelity. And I came to this conclusion because the gossip is preceding this sacral chakra. Okay? And choose wisely is the following card. Okay? Soul plan. I want to bring it to the attention of the collective that a lot of you are being led, and I will speak in my truth, regardless of people's opinions or approvals. A lot of you are being led the wrong way. Now, as you listen to these channelings that I offer, please be aware that in my offering, my purpose is to serve at a capacity where you'll take what you want and you'll leave the rest. Those of you who do prefer the guidance or relying on the intuition or the gifts of others, I would also encourage you to work on connecting with your own intuition. Because those of you that don't, I don't even have the words to express how much danger you are in. And the reason why is because a lot of people that call themselves teacher or reader or practitioner, whatever the title that they anoint themselves with. Yes, I went there. Does not mean that they are ethical. It does not mean that they are in the mindset of helping you connect with your highest self. And I really feel it is a disservice to you to be under those that are not being of service to you, but rather exploiting you. And this is why I'm being led to encourage you to pray and ask God to help you to develop your own intuition. And so when you do listen to a reading or to a teaching, a channeling, whatever it is, that you will not be vulnerable to the point that you could be led astray. I pray that God can gift you with the spirit of discernment, because we are at an age where that is there's an urgency. It really needs to be a priority in your life, because a lot of people have already encountered false teachers and guides that led them astray and in directions that have no U-turn, you know? And it's just sad. So some of you are in a relationship where your person is being unfaithful. And then there are others of you that already have passed that stage, are fully aware of what took place, but have come to a point where the person wants to make a U-turn. And as they want to make a U-turn, there are many options. And what I like about this card in particular, there's 5 options, but there's only one that's pointing to the light. And this is how life comes. You have all of these choices, but one of these choices is the best one for you. And when you have the spirit of discernment, you'll be able to focus on the light and not be caught up in illusion with all these other directions that are a gamble. I mentioned earlier that some of you are being led astray, and I already know what I'm about to say may catch some flack. But as I've shared with you many times before, my purpose in serving is not to meet anyone's approval or to fulfill any sense of conformity. And this is why the job that I have can be regarded as a heavy load, because it requires for me to be in my truth, but not only be in my truth, but speak it and trust and believe. The truth is not well received by many. A lot of you are being told that this is your twin flame. This is your divine masculine. This is your divine feminine. This is. Let me tell you guys something, okay? I'm just trying to save a life. Before you listen to anyone who tells you this is who you're supposed to be with, this is who you're destined to be with, this is who God said you need to know that you know that you know that is that person for you. Please let that sink in. It is very necessary that you let that sink in right now. Okay? Because if that person is toxic, if that person has come into your life with an energy that just is burdensome, okay? If you find yourself in a situation where you was living your life and you was living within your means and life was flowing, right? All your bills was getting paid. You even had savings. You were able to plan things and achieve your goals. And God's favor was always around the corner. And here you are connecting with an individual, and you realize all of God's favor has come to a halt. And you're recognizing that every area in your life is being drained. People, I'm so serious. I'm speaking, obviously, of your finances, okay? And other areas like your joy, your progress, your ability to build. If you notice all of that becoming a standstill, your peace, all of that becoming drained, your dreams, and then you hear someone say, this is who you need to be with. I'm going to be daring enough to tell you, you need to slap yourself one time to see if you could slap some common sense back to self. Okay? Because some of you need some tough love. Okay? And the tough love that I'm speaking of should be self-love. When you love yourself and you notice that you have fallen, you don't make peace and lie down. What you do is you begin to make movement to gather your strength and stand back up again. This is not possible, people, when you are connected to liability. It is not possible when you're connected to codependency. If God is pointing you in a direction, He is not then going to be pointing you to tag along with what will be an obstacle from being in alignment with Him. Okay? And so let me speak to you in truth and say, I do not care who, what, where. You were told that you need to be with this partner, you need to be doing this, and you need to be there. Okay? If it is not in alignment with your highest good, listen to me. I said, if it's not in alignment with your highest good. Did that register yet? If it is not in alignment with your highest good, then that is not God's plan. Now, I could go into further detail, but I'm being told to rest it here. Because I cannot take your path for you. I cannot do the work for you. You are responsible to live your life. And as you live your life, I pray that you make the choices that are best for your life. And so those of you that are hyper focused on the philosophies of twin souls and so forth, my gentle reminder would be, check yourself. Yeah, I said that. I said check yourself because as you check yourself, you yourself need to be balanced. You're masculine. You're feminine. You need to be in the mindset of the wise mind. And in order to do that, you must first heal those wounds that have been berating you ever since childhood, that you have been suppressing by means of your addictions, by means of self-sabotage. By means of following the quote-unquote leader. If you find yourself in a situation where you cannot think for yourself, you need direction, you need guidance, you have no discernment, you lack wisdom, let me be the first to tell you, you do not have your masculine and feminine sides balanced. And if they are not balanced, how in the world can you show up in a union that you don't even have the prerequisite for? Can somebody make it make sense? How in the world can you show up in a union that you do not have the prerequisites for? And this is why I'm telling you that a lot of you are being lied to. A lot of you are being taken for a ride. And until you use your God-given brains, you will find yourself being exploited and taken advantage of for as long as it takes for you to learn the lesson of self-discipline. When you learn the lesson of self-discipline, you will understand how to weigh things down. Because I am guided to do this does not mean that is what I should do. Is it in alignment first with what God is calling me to do? Is it in alignment with what I want to do? Is it in alignment with what I am prepared to do? The contract that needs to be prioritized is the one that you make with yourself. And that is to learn what it is that you're supposed to learn in order for you to fulfill whatever it is that you signed up to fulfill in connection with a partnership that facilitates your mission. Do you follow me? That means if you are bombarded by toxicity, that will be a blockage, an obstacle, a hindrance from you being able to move forward and fulfill what you are called to do. And so as you apply discernment to your personal lives, keep in mind what you need to prioritize. What have you learned? What have you healed? What have you found balance in? What have you mastered? It is when you are on that track, you find yourself in the reality of being ready to connect with another healed individual that has learned what they were sent to learn, that has healed what they were sent to heal, that has found balance within themselves. Notice codependency does not exist. Confirmation. And in your completeness, your manifestation abilities are at a capacity that offers fertility. Which is the benefit and the reason for union. Now, I'll be the first to say, keep your options open. Because as you keep your options open, you realize what you like and what you don't have time for. You also allow yourself to focus on your priorities. Because sometimes when you find yourself in situations where there is no promise, it puts you in the mindset of lack. And so settling should not be part of your journey. Can I repeat the truth? Settling should not be part of your journey. And let me further go along and share that a lot of manipulation is going on. And there are various forms of manipulation. And I leave it to you to do your own research and discover how these forms can relate to you and your life and your circumstances. But the next card is endings. And so as you do your research, this is clearly telling me there need to be some endings in your life. Endings to things that are not in alignment with your highest good. Disregarding yesterday's connections, promises, belief systems. That was yesterday's programming. This is a new day. And those of you that choose not to end what is not in alignment with your highest good will remain in that cycle that is not in alignment with your highest good. And please understand, once you make your choice, you made your choice. I'm going to repeat that for someone in denial. Once you made your choice, you made your choice. I'm also being led to share that the soul ties that you may believe you have because of the emotions, the unexplainable connection, and so forth, can be justified as a karmic soul tie, or a karmic soulmate, or a fake twin flame. And so as you awaken through healing, you realize that no, that's not of God. God is not going to put me in a situation where the individual that he wants me to connect with is being unfaithful, is being promiscuous, is participating in risky behaviors, is a lying, improvise. He's not going to put you in a situation to bring you back and then request that you move forward. I mean, make it make sense, people. And this is why the no contact rule was formed. Once you've used your discernment and realized that this is not working with me, and this is in the direction where I need to go, that is closure. Now I'm being led to share when closure begins, okay? Closure begins in a relationship. And for those of you that do not understand, please be confident in the fact that I will thoroughly explain. When you are in a relationship with someone and you don't show up for the person, okay, by any means, okay, and some of you have experienced that. Being in a relationship, quote unquote, with someone that does not show up for you by any means. Yet you stayed in the relationship because you've made a commitment and you are a person of your word. Unfortunately, sometimes it does not matter your intent. Sometimes it does not matter how you showed up, because it takes two. And so if both parties did not show up with the same intent, then success will not show up either. And this is what happens sometimes. Closure begins when you are in a relationship and in conversation, you hear commentary that makes you raise an eyebrow. But as you hear it, you take note of it, you understand it, and you follow its lead. I recall once being in a situation where I felt that I was being drained. And I brought it to someone's attention that, my intention is to move forward in life. And so staying stagnant is not something we can continue to do. So we have to learn to live below our means, because that is what allows progression. Now, the reaction I received was, "I'm not thinking about that now. What do you mean about the future? Who said anything about the future?" Hello. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. If you are in a relationship with someone and they make a commentary such as that, "I'm not worried about the future right now. Who said I want to save for the future?" Now, those of you with common sense, I'm hoping more than less, would be able to decipher that, you know what? This is not going to go anywhere. Like, the person does not have to tell you that I don't want to build with you. The person does not have to tell you that I want to leave you. The person does not have to tell you that I'm just here to waste your time. Do you understand? I mean, these are the things that you need to pay attention to. And as you pay attention to them, keep your notes, right? Keep your notes and follow the lead. If I already know your intention is to not build with me, and you further make remarks where your finances will be used to achieve set goal, and you do not include your spouse in the quote unquote goal that you have? What exactly does that entail? You're already divided. You understand? You can have papers and still be already divided. The goal is not to make someone like you, make someone want to work with you, make someone treat you fairly. The goal is to be smart. Pay attention. Take note. Because some things need endings. Right? Now that same person would further down the line bring up land. His goal was to purchase land. His goal was to build a house. That part. Again, in passing conversation, you were not included as a spouse. What is that telling you? That same person also spoke of an inheritance that he was to gain in a passing. When the person passed, he then came to me. That person that did not want to build with me, did not want to save with me, did not want to, purchase land with me or include me in purchasing land or include me in purchasing a house or include me in any which way, right? Then came to me requesting assistance for a few. I want y'all to sit back and hear some facts, okay? That same person had the audacity to then ask to be assisted with the funeral of his loved one. Right? That same person who did not contribute in the household. I said did not. I didn't say sometimes. I said did not. Note that. Okay? There was always an excuse of the reason why I cannot contribute is because of my ex-wife's greed and her need for me to continue to flourish her with money in order to take care of my son. That right there is a red flag. When you feel the need to say that the reason a parent needs your contribution is because of their greed, is then leading me to believe that you are irresponsible in character, right? And as I would assist by means of transporting this individual who claimed he had a vehicle, then claimed he lent it to someone who got into an accident, then claimed he was going to buy one soon, then claimed he couldn't buy one now because he needed the money to pay a lawyer to clear out the immigration processing fees. Mind you, this is someone who claimed he had papers, that he was legal in this country, right? So after marriage, you begin to disclose that this was my job, but I lied. This was my business, but I lied. This was my immigration status, but I lied. This was how many kids I said I had, but I lied. This is my status in singlehood, not connected, not connected, not connected to any other relationship. That's what I said, but I lied. Okay, so you're following the pattern. You're following the pattern. Okay. Now, this same person who was a drain on my finances then comes to me and requests for assistance to pay funeral costs for a loved one. I remember bringing it to his attention that, didn't you say that everything was taken care of? There was even an inheritance. There was, means to take care of anything that were to happen as far as funeral costs and everything. Yeah, that's what I thought, but that's not what the case is, right? Let me tell you guys something. There are some things I know that I don't speak about. There are some lies that were told, some signatures that were made, some incriminating evidence that was found that I don't speak about. Now, let me rewind and share with you my pattern. My pattern is to listen, observe, take note. Do you understand? And so when you feel the need to steal my identity, my social security, it goes on, right? This is when it all connects. And you begin to recall what happened at the beginning, what happened during, what happened in the end. This is also when you recall that in a divorce, I'm taking a deep breath, people. I'm taking a deep breath. Please excuse my deep breath. There are assets that are divided. And so when one of the parties was lying about what assets was available, that also is illegal. Is it not? But I still take note. And this is why closure happens during the relationship. Because as one party pays attention to the other, they know where they stand. They know where the other party feels that they're taking them for a fool. They also know that there's no future here. There's never going to be a future here. There is nothing but a big fat mistake here. Sometimes I wonder, when people take risks, do they consider the consequence long enough? Just a question. A mere question. Now, would you believe the next card is all tied up? Ain't that something? All tied up. Following all tied up is freedom. And that's telling me one party is all tied up and another party is free. Four of Wands. Following that is what I live by, which is patience and planning. Inner discovery. Finding sacredness. You are what you seek. And the last card of that pile is with you now. The message I'm receiving from this pile is that it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. I was put in a dilemma of being all tied up, where I was contributing in this area, in that area, in that area, in that area, in all areas. The pie. You understand? And then God stepped in. Right? And God gave me freedom. He gave me freedom by giving me insight of what was really going on. And once this was clarified, regardless of the dreams that I thought I had, regardless of the manipulations that were done, and I say plural because it was done in more than one way, I then began focusing on patience and planning. Okay. I began to see myself the way God sees me, right? Inner discovery. Finding sacredness. You are what you seek. And with you now is confirming that regardless of what I went through or what you're going through, you're not alone. The goal is to pay attention. The goal is to take note. The goal is to practice patience and planning. And being the assurance that you are not alone. Because the role shall be reversed, and the ones that were once tied up will now be free, and the ones that were in the illusion of being free will now be all tied up in many senses of the word. You follow? Now the next pile is Page of Cups, friendship, caring connections, heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, inner fire, willpower. Always open. That's telling me that it doesn't matter how many deceitful people that you encountered in school. There will always be a different somebody that you encounter, because we are all different. And those people that you encountered serve their purpose of showing you their true colors. As you witness their true colors, you realize what it is that you want and what it is that you will not tolerate. And I love how the heart chakra card showed up with always open. Regardless of these experiences, you are still responsible for allowing yourself to process in all its stages what you've encountered, with the goal of eventually finding continuous healing, stressing continuous healing, because healing will be an effort you make for the rest of your life. Because as I've shared before, healing is ongoing. Reason being, life introduces triggers. And so when you least expect it, you may have an experience where you recall a misfortune, an injustice. And when you are brought to those moments, it is for the purpose of you learning what was left of that lesson that you didn't grasp yet. It doesn't mean that you didn't forgive or you didn't move on or that you're living in yesterday. It means there's another area to scope. And so as you fulfill that, you prepare yourself for what's ahead. And seed the light. I'm just amazed by the next card. It came at a timely manner, but I'm still taking it in. It is Angel of Balance. And that's telling me that God works in mysterious ways. This is why sometimes what others thought would bring you down to your demise, in fact, rose you up into brighter days. Into contentment. Living and breathing at ease. Exuding gratitude. People, that's a beautiful place to be. And this is why I don't regret ever having an open heart. I don't regret ever in showing up as my best self. Because showing up as my best self, regardless of being taken for granted or for a joke, it allowed me to end what no longer was in alignment with my highest good. Because once you've given your best, there's nothing else to give. Do you follow me? The only time there is effort to give is when you did not give your all. Right? And it is only fair that freedom comes to those that pass the class. The next pile. Deceit. Juggling. Coping mechanisms. Loosen your grip. Secrets revealed. Treasures uncovered. Balance needed. Emotional withdrawal. Now that's telling me that still there are those that cannot be trusted, that are trying to infiltrate your circles. And so that you must remain on high alert. Okay? Now, the Two of Pentacles, juggling, also relates to multiple priorities, time management. You understand? See, when you are stealing from one and taking it to another, that's juggling. Correct? And let me tell you how karma plays in. See, some of us have more nerve than others. To be in a relationship knowing you were half assing it. And then have the nerve to refuse to loosen your grip and go by means of manipulation. Spell work. Curses. Hexes. And then on Wednesdays, conducting Bible studies. And always being available for more corruption. God sees all, God knows all. God also takes note. He pays attention. He observes. That's exactly how he does it. And then when the time comes is the next card. Secrets revealed. Treasures uncovered. That must mean something. That must mean something to somebody somewhere out there. Huh. Yeah. That part. Next card is balance needed. I love how these cards play out. Yo. Balance needed. And what I love about this card is the lovely colors imprinted of blues and purples, right? So it is being brought to our attention that in order to find healing, balance is required. Okay? Balance is required. And this is one of the reasons why, for the longest of times, I've always taught not to do black magic, curses, hexes, anything low vibrational to attack. Reason being, once you do that, you open the door to receive. Do you understand? I said, do you understand? And so this is when you remind yourself, the battle is not mine. This is a spiritual warfare going on. And this is where I give it to God. Because as you send your death spells, your diseases, your blockages, and they were all returned back to sender, guess who receives them? You see, once you create an energy, it doesn't die. And so if you created an energy and you sent it to another party to manipulate, to abuse, to attack, to whatever your intention was, please understand that you're taking your own risk. And this is why people that did participate in the shenanigans are enduring their rewards. I'm hearing the song, "What a Mighty God We Serve." He is indeed a mighty God. Because sometimes your relationship with God is not based on how many Bible verses you know and how many titles you possess. It matters what you do in the shadows. It matters the injustices that you engage in. What matters are the masks that need to be removed. I find it so comedic that those same people that can hire hitmen and attempt to kidnap you and rape you and steal from you and my God, are the same ones saying, but you have to forgive, but you're not being Christian because you're not forgiving. People. You want to know what the next card is? It's emotional withdrawal. It's the card that represents the state that I am connecting with presently, where I accept everything that I was supposed to accept. I learned everything I was supposed to learn. And right now I'm taking care of self. Because that's what God is calling me to do. He's calling me to process. He's calling me to recall that life is a school. He's calling me to share my story. When it all falls down, today's title, when it all falls down, I matter. You feel me? If you don't matter to anyone else, you better matter to yourself. Do you understand? And so therefore, when you're hearing busybodies, I like to call them, making their observations, their assumptions, their judgments about how you need to conduct or comport yourself, remember that you too must have a connection with God. Because when you have a connection with God, He will assist you with your intuition and the guidance you need to live your life in a way that is pleasing to Him. When you are called to forgive, something that is overlooked drastically is first you must begin with yourself. Forgive yourself for wasting your time, your precious time, your energy, your sacredness with the lost. Yeah, I went there. I said with the lost. Remember who you are. As you remember who you are, you will know your worth. Next card is Six of Swords. That relates to travel, transition, safety, and resolution. And when it all falls down and I review my notes, my observation, my understanding, categorizing what is in alignment for my highest good, what is not in my highest good. My highest good led me to God. The only God is my God. Not what you interpret for me, not what you read to me, not what you use to manipulate me, but my truth, my guide, my eyes, my strength, love, my everything. I found God through solitude. You see, solitude is part of the process. There are times you need to escape the gossip, the lies, the defamations of character, the demonic nature of things, and speak to God. He gives you light. A full system upgrade. A power to recall your path. Connection. And attunement. When it all falls down, I matter. And so when you make your decisions and you follow your path, my gentle reminder is include yourself in the process. You should matter for you. By all means, with wisdom, stand up for yourselves and choose you. And with that, I will close. Thank you for processing today's channeled message with me. I am as I am. In the eyes of God, nothing more, nothing less. Peace.